There are many things that make Kratos angry, but top of his bloodstained list, low frame rates. Here's how to make sure you get the very best visuals and performance out of God of War Ragnarok on ROG Ally and Ally X. Hello and welcome to ROG Global, where we celebrate PC gaming, grow our beards super long, and keep our axes razor sharp. Yes, we've all noticed a little bit of Kratos' influence rubbing off on us, haven't we? Being the star of a fantastically brutal set of PS5 ports that really bring Norse mythology to life on PC way better than our old history teacher did. Although, to be fair, ray tracing and 4K textures weren't on the curriculum back then. If you're playing God of War Ragnarok on ROG Ally or Ally X, and why wouldn't you? It means you get to take an incredible AAA gaming experience anywhere with you, then you'll want to implement these recommended graphics settings so that you hit that fidelity performance sweet spot. Let's get into it. First, let's get our expectations in check. What kind of frame rates can we get out of such a gorgeous open world game that's dripping in incidental detail like this one? Well, in our testing, using our recommended graphics settings, which we'll cover in detail next, we found that both ROG Ally and ROG Ally X with the AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme in turbo mode get between 40 to 50 FPS most of the time. But that can dip down into the 30s in some areas, like the early part of Svartalfheim. So, it's worth turning on AMD FSR on these areas to negate the dips in frame rate and smooth out your experience. So, most of the time then, we're pitching for 40 to 50 FPS natively before we turn on frame generation via AMD Fluid Motion Frames. Once we do that, we can bring the final frame rate up to 60 to 70 FPS and even up into the 80s in some areas. And that's at the Ally and Ally X's 1080p native screen resolution. That's the context for the next set of graphics settings tweaks. We're changing the following settings to keep our frame rate in that range at 1080p, with frame generation giving us that last 20 to 30 FPS on top of a solid 40 to 50 FPS foundation. If you care more about seeing the visuals pushed further and you're willing to sacrifice some frame rate to see it, or if you value performance above all else and just want the higher frame rates, then adjust your own graphics settings accordingly to hit your desired results. Let's get into the starting settings. We'll begin with resolution. We'll keep that at 1920 by 1080 since that's the native screen resolution on the Ally and Ally X. We've got frame scaling options later, but as a baseline we're running the game at our native res. Next, turn on frame gen. This one's up to you, but to our eye, the extra frames created by AMD Fluid Motion Frames technology makes a big difference to the overall smoothness of the game without sacrificing image quality, so we're enabling it. Now for your frame scaling method, pick AMD FSR 3.1 and then select the upscaling quality to quality instead of balanced. The combo of native res, upscaling and frame gen gives us that sweet spot of sharpness and frame rate. Onto the textures now. First, you'll want to make sure you've assigned 6GB of VRAM to your GPU, then you can safely set the textures to high. Next, set the models to medium. Due to the Ally's screen size, this really is the happy medium, since it's harder to notice the benefits going beyond this, but you do notice the jump from low to medium. You can go ahead and crank up the anisotropic filtering to ultra so that the textures appear nice and sharp at a distance with little to no performance hit. And then next, we'll tackle lighting and shadows. Our optimal setting here is to have lighting set to high and shadows set to low. It's all about marginal gains, this one. We think the overall effect of going high with lighting is more pleasing on the eye than sacrificing some lighting quality for sharper shadows. Play around to suit your taste, of course. Finally, reflections, atmospherics, ambient occlusion, and tessellation, you're all getting set to medium. Although these settings all affect different aspects of the final rendered frame, it's the same rationale throughout. The jump from low to medium is worth it, but medium to high is less noticeable, so it's better to spend the GPU resources elsewhere. Dial those settings in, take Kratos for a little stroll, get into some battles and visit a few different areas to get a feel for the frame rate and how it varies from place to place. You should be getting that 60 to 80 FPS range with these settings, while achieving a nice overall fidelity that really speaks to the talents of the developers who put this incredible port together. Now all that's left to do is polish off the 30-hour main campaign, another 20 hours of optional favors, and that's it. Parenthood completed. And you can take it with you anywhere you like, so you can embark on an epic real-life journey while embarking on that epic in-game journey too. Or just play it in bed. That works too. We hope this guide helps you get the most out of God of War Ragnarok on ROG Ally and Ally X. Leave us a like if this video is useful, subscribe to us at ROG Global for more, and we will catch you in the next one.